The screaming fucking divas.
If you don't know that, you need to join the party because we're having a little bit of fun over here, people.
Or is it the fucking screaming divas?
The fucking, I mean, like the fabulous, gorgeous, fucking screaming divas join the club. Hi, hi.
And yeah, we're feeling feisty today.
A little bit.
Who did we interview?
Oh, I love her. Oh my gosh. This glorious, fabulous human being, soprano, South African soprano, Elza Van Den Heever.
Yep. Woo! Like amazing. We've both worked with her, right?
Yes. She's a close, dear friend of mine. I really wanted her on the Screaming Divas because she has such an important message to talk about her journey during the pandemic, of how she processed this intense loss, grief, identity, this whole thing, what the pandemic has done, and the other side of it, where she's come. And her last Instagram post really, I was like, this girl, we need to talk to her, because it hit at I'm not trying to say
a nerve with both of us. Yeah. But she focused all of her artistic creativity into making these amazingly beautiful cakes, and
which she'd never done before, people, ever.
And we were honored to be two of those cakes. She did the Screaming Divas.
Yes, she did, because she loves us and we love her. So really, this conversation is for all of you out there that have struggled, musicians, artists, whatever, that have struggled. We go there. There's some tears in here, people. I mean, there might be some ugly crying happening by Carrie Alcoma. Anyway, we love her. Really watch this, people. She's just an amazing human being with this gorgeous heart inside. I love her.
Amazing. Yeah.
Here's a clip.
Oh, yes. Toodly.
Stay safe, everybody.
Bye.
Mm-hmm. And that's when I realized that I myself even have forgotten just the impact of a real voice on our souls, just how it speaks to us subconsciously. We're not even aware of what it does, but it does something. So digital takes that all away. It's gone. There's no more visceral reaction to a real live human voice, which is so profound and so powerful.
Yeah.
But then twofold, I see my parents is sitting in South Africa and they get to see everything I do. And for this, I cannot say I'm not grateful.
Elza!
Your audio, you are using the computer audio. Yes, this is what we want, right?
Yeah. Yes, hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Dude, computer I'm so not a Zoomer.
Guess what?
I'm doing.
It's not fun always. But when you have 3 sopranos together, it's going to be a blast.
Yes.
How pretty you are.
How are you?
I just shook my coffee everywhere. Sorry. There it is, dripping down the mug. Nice.
Well, I wish this was tequila, but it's not. It's just water.
Oh, boring. That's because you are getting ready to go to sing.
Well, me too. I got a coach today, so it's like, yeah, water.
It's so boring.
It's so boring, people.
But it's better for you.
Yeah, it's true, huh?
Yeah. How you doing?
How are you?
Are we recording?
Yeah, we're recording.
This is it.
This is it, girl. We go right into it.
On vacation, so like my mind is still like, what? Sing? Huh? Music?
Yeah. My mind's, huh? What? Music? Sing? What? Since 17 months.
I know, girl. It's been a hot dang mess.
But I have to say you're glowing. You definitely.
Oh, you want to know why I'm glowing? And this is the reason I couldn't put on the makeup, because I am spending my days in my garden, because I've decided that on the hottest days of the year, it's time to start gardening. So I've been digging, with the pioche. I don't know what that thing is called. It's like, it's small and then gets bigger.
Yeah.
What is that thing where you have to hold it over
Oh,
real.
Like an axe?
It's
Oh,
a-
an axe.
No,
a
it's
hoe.
not nice.
A hoe.
Is that what this thing is
A
called?
hoe.
So,
I have been hoeing in 36-degree weather under the sun like a crazy person. But this is so, I said to Isabel, this is so typical Elza. I'm all or nothing kind of girl, right? I cannot do little by little. It's either all or nothing. And so when the bug bit yesterday morning, no, 2 days ago, actually, what is today? Saturday, my God. On Monday, I woke up and I said, today is the day. And where we live, the ground is not ground. It's like pebbles that you have to, you know, obliterate before it becomes ground. And then
That's
you have
awful.
to, turn the soil by adding other good soil to it. And then you have to, you know, work it before you can plant anything. So that's why I'm glowing, because I've been under the sun like a crazy.
it's a healthy looking, happy.
Oh, thanks.
If I had to do that, that would be when Carrie's like, hello, can somebody come do this?
You pay the for that.
my
But you know what? It's good exercise, right?
It's great exercise, number one. And number two, man, it's so meditative. I had no idea. And again, I said to Isabel, how come it took me 16 months to wake up, you know, to like wake up? Because I'm enjoying it so much. I cannot believe I've not been gardening all this time. I did a little bit in the beginning, but I didn't know what I was doing. So it wasn't satisfying and nothing grew because I didn't know you're supposed to do all this stuff. So now I've gone out and I bought the tools and now I can do all this stuff. My God, but I'm hurting. Everything hurts. And this morning I woke up and my jaw was like clenched.
Oh, you were gritting when you were.
Yeah, because I'm like doing all this physical exercise and you don't know how you're pulling yourself in, you know, different directions. And all of a sudden, you know, my left hip hurts and so it affects my right jaw. It's just crazy.
I get that when I'm raking leaves. I thought, because you know you always favor one side,
Right.
and then you wake up the next day and you're like, why am I? You know.
I've been discovering this a week before departure.
I'm sorry, but I know why you haven't been gardening, because you've been baking. I mean, because that has taken up how many hours did it take to make the Eiffel Tower cake?
Oh, the Eiffel Tower was interesting because attempt number one was a big failure. And so I had gotten to the point of putting on the blue fondant just before I was about to measure out each little ironwork. I don't know. It got to that point where I realized that she was Tower of Pisa. So I had to start over. So that cake took like 45 plus hours to execute. Because I had to measure, because it's surprisingly difficult if you want to do accurate work, right? And I'm not a mathematician. I had to measure every tiny little piece of fondant with a ruler, quite literally. But, you know, because it's cake, it doesn't have strict angles. Yeah, that was interesting. That was an interesting endeavor.
Okay, can we talk about this, because your last post that you posted on Instagram hit such a nerve across the board. I mean, I just looked this morning, I think it was like around 120 comments. I mean, nobody really comments. You had 120 comments, and I don't even know how many likes, 1,000 likes or something like that, because of what you talked about with the baking, with the pandemic, with not working, going back to work. I really wanted to talk to you about that. Do you want to go there?
Oh, sure. I think it's important, honestly. I don't see there's no reason not to talk about it. And I'm definitely not going to sit here and feel ashamed about what it is that I endured, you know, because we're in the same boat. This is where it's a little bit tricky, because I felt so ashamed of myself, of how, oh God, no, the tears. Oh, I'm sorry.
Listen,
don't you start, girl. I will go with you, so don't you do it. Okay.
I've cried so many times on this show. It's not funny. And you know what? It's totally therapeutic.
Yeah.
I'm so ashamed of how I went into this, because I am an advert believer that when tragedy strikes, oh, how can I say this humoristically? Okay, so when I watch The Walking Dead, which I love, by the way.
Yes.
I'm not a fan of zombie movies, but I love The Walking Dead. I just
Mhm.
love the character development and script writing, whatever. I always think to myself when I watch that show prior to 2020, my God, I wonder how I would react if tragedy struck, and the world as we knew it came to an end. Okay, obviously that didn't happen, not that catastrophically, but in our little bubble, it was catastrophic. And I always thought to myself, ooh, I would be one of those people that's going to be, like on the forefront, being so okay and like figuring it out and just sort of saying to myself day by day, I'm just going to do it. It's going to be great. I thought I would be one of those people. I fell apart, but like fell apart.
Yeah.
And I feel like I should be ashamed of it. And honestly, now in retrospect, I'm not, because
No.
it affected us all differently, and I really thought I was going to be okay through all of it, and I just wasn't. I really, truly fell apart at the seams, and it was so difficult to endure, and like to find my way back to some sort of life was so hard, and I don't know why I'm crying. I'm sorry.
You know why? Because have you voiced this? Have you, besides your Instagram post, have you
No, I mean, I spoke to poor Isabel about it. I did seek therapy at some point because honestly, I mean, I went over to the dark side. Really, truly, honestly, the dark side consumed me.
You're not the only one.
And I didn't have the thing that, the lightsaber. I couldn't find my lightsaber. I really had like suicidal thoughts, quite honestly. And I'm not ashamed to say it anymore. I was, but I'm not. Like, I just couldn't figure it out. And the gardening is helping with that. And the cake baking helped with that so much, because it forces you to focus on one task. And while you're doing that task, executing that task, you cannot sit there and wallow in your own self-pity. Because really, man, I've been throwing myself a pity party, like a one-woman show for about a year.
It's a pity party. I honestly don't think it's a pity party. I think
in retrospect, that's what it felt like. I feel like I've been wasting a year. I feel like I wasted a year of my life, which is a terrible feeling.
But did you come out on the other side now, being a stronger, different person?
So much has changed in my own perception of myself. And I don't know, it has forced me to think about so many things, and also, why did I fall apart at the seams? There's always reasons for these things, right? I think for me, it was like the floodgates opened in terms of emotions, things that I had been suppressing for such a long time, because I had to. Right. Because when we're on the road, when we're working, we cannot walk around like this 24/7. And I don't know about you guys, but my emotions are strong and they affect me strongly. And so when I'm sad, or like I think about all the tears that I had to sort of not cry when they were happening, because I had to sort of keep my head up high. Like the day when my mother dropped me in San Francisco. I was 18 years old and she told me, don't come downstairs. Just don't come downstairs. And she left. And there I was, 18 years old, having to sort of figure it out, on the other side of the globe. I'm talking about things like that, like really suppressed emotions, because what we do requires us to be really, really tough human beings. And I think that's what happened. I think all my work evaporated and I just couldn't cope. But so it forced me to seek therapy, which I had never done before. And it also forced me to really examine things that I have not been paying attention to, and self-care being one of them.
Huge.
And not being so rigid. Oh my God. I didn't realize what a rigid human being I was I mean, I knew I was, but I didn't realize to what extent, how I have forced myself to function by such strict, this is happening now, I have to prepare for this, 5 years in advance. I'm already working on what comes in 5 years. And we have to relax a little bit. We're just human beings.
But do you think that rigidity was your way of avoiding some emotions too?
Maybe it's just my way, I don't know. I think dyslexia had a lot to do with that also, because I just don't learn quickly. I was looking at you guys' interview with Renee. And all of you were saying, oh, I hear something once and then it's in. Okay, that's lovely.
Okay, wait, I need to correct that, because music, yes. I mean, it just makes sense to me based off, but the music, yes, but the words, for me, I'm very dyslexic and the words go sideways. I mean, no matter how many times I've sung Tosca or whatever, or even Donna Elvira, I still screw up the words. I mean, it's just like, it's almost a joke now. Right.
But how do you guys go about learning Strauss? Because that for me was getting my little toes dipping into that pool is quite hard. That's I don't know how people learn this stuff.
That music is it's really like where the
I don't sing it.
It's like it's the notes and the rhythms and you don't feel it. You feel it totally different than you feel the Italian repertoire. It's totally weird. I wanted to say this. I was thinking this when you were talking. I cannot, in private conversations over the since March 2020 with really good friends, it is the same. It's the same emotions, the same boats, the same breadth of emotions. And a lot of therapy, a lot of singers are talking this out, which makes my heart happy, because I've been a huge fan of therapy for a very long time. And I honestly, Elza, I still think that there are a lot of these emotions still happening, especially because there's still not a lot of work. I mean, yeah, there's opera companies coming back, but it's a lot of the same singers over and over again. The pool of who they're choosing from, like I'm on the outside of that pool, there's no work. And so there's still a lot of emotional spinning. I call it spinning, because what do you do with yourself? What do you do with this creative body, mind, heart, soul? How do you function? So and honestly, there's part of me with watching this Delta variant flying around. I was just showing Sandra a thing that Viola Davis put on. It was like, these are my fall plans. This is the Delta variant, and you're like, that's how I feel. And I'm like, and it's so hard not to go back down into darkness and say, what do I do now? I mean, what if all these things start getting canceled again? What are we going to do?
Exactly. And that was another contributing factor. My God, I said to Isabel, if at the beginning of all of this, at the beginning of March, somebody said, okay, people, everything is canceled for a year. Go live your life, make your plans, do something else. That would have been one thing.
Right.
But the phone kept ringing every 2 weeks. Oh, this is canceled. Oh, this is canceled for now, but might be postponed until la la la. Oh, this is canceled, but we're thinking of doing instead. This is canceled. Oh, you are going to Amsterdam. Oh, you're not going to Amsterdam. You are going to, switch gears. We're not doing this anymore. We're doing this instead. 2 weeks later, you get the phone call and, oh, sorry, this is canceled. It was that constant uncertainty of the future. And 16 months later, everything for me got canceled except for 3 things. Was it 3 things?
You did the Fiesta later, right?
Oh, but that was a canceled thing that turned into something else. I was supposed to sing with the Philharmonie of Fidelio in, I can tell you, I have my calendar in front of me. I was supposed to do a Fidelio concert version in May. And then when the Fiesta leader came 9 months after my last singing gig, which was also interesting, two-side interesting, because it was so appropriate to be the first thing out again in singing land. It was so profound. And why was it 2 things? I don't know. I've lost my train of thought. Anyway, it was not planned. That was absolutely just sort of, hey, we have a concert for you. Can you do it a week from now? And that's how that happened. But I had a Wiesendank leader in Montpellier, I think, was literally the only contract that didn't get cancelled.
Wow.
And then Ilta Baro Munich, and that was it. All the rest evaporated. Oh, yeah.
You spend time learning these roles, and then you take that score, and it goes from this pile, and it goes, and it goes from the next one. Comes.
People in our world don't understand this, you know. Our work gets done behind the scenes. Like when we show up, that role is already studied. It's in your brain, it's in your voice, and that doesn't just magically happen.
I wish.
You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I had a Fliegende Hollander that was cancelled twice. So I've yet to make my role debut, but the thing is learned. It's studied. It's there. It's just, it got cancelled. And it's difficult to relay that to people who are not in our profession, you know.
And it's not a burden. I mean, we've spent money to work with coaches, to work with voice teachers, you know, some people with acting teachers as well. And then, you know, that's all money that's
already spent that you're not getting back. So
no, I'm
interesting.
So in your, I mean, with figuring out you and figuring out, I don't know, I loved what you said about you realize that like, how am I going to say that? How do I want to say this? The word artist was something that you now called yourself. And
something I discovered. I had no idea.
I just really find that so fascinating because I've always thought you are like the consummate artist. You live, breathe, eat this stuff, performing the music, the story, the acting, the costumes, all of it. When you are that character, you are that person on stage. I mean,
so I feel like this is the way I always felt about it. And maybe it's because I come from a family of artists, but like real artists, people who actually create. You know, my father is in the film industry. My mom she made one of those teddy bears back there. She's so creative. My brother is his medium is charcoal. My father writes. I mean, I come from real artists, and I always thought of myself as somebody that copies. I thought of myself as somebody that interprets somebody else's work. You know, the costume that I'm putting on my body was created by somebody else. The director I'm working with is guiding me, but I'm still just a vessel for his vision. You know what that means? I don't think of myself as an artist. I really, truly, and I have such imposter syndrome. I think of myself as the biggest fraud that ever walked the earth. And
seriously?
Huh?
Seriously?
No, but really, like people look at me sideways when I say this, but this is just the truth. It's just the truth. And it wasn't until I started doing these cakes that I realized, wow, I actually have skill that I didn't know I had. And I thought somehow that validated my artistry. And then I read something, no, I didn't read. On America's Got Talent or America's Something Talent, I don't know, I don't watch that show. So the Simon Cowell thing. They had a girl who's battling cancer, and she said the most beautiful thing. What did she say? She said, you cannot wait until life isn't hard anymore before you decide to be happy. And when I heard that, I ding, 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 all the little bells went off in my head. And I said, but you are so ridiculous. You have so much talent in your fingers. How can you not call yourself an artist? And on that day, I went and I painted my dog. Not because I've ever done it before, just because I realized that I could. Mm-hmm. And conceptualizing these cakes, you know, I did that. I wasn't copying somebody else's work. And
why cake?
Huh? Why cake?
Why cake?
I don't know. Because I needed something to do. Because I was sitting on my butt doing nothing, and that's just not me. And I was cooking every day, and I asked my PR person, I asked Lenny's studio, please can I have the password to my Instagram account, because I wasn't even managing that myself. Because I thought I need something to do? And so I started cooking every day like everybody else. And I would just take pictures of it. At least that gave me something to do. And then one day we were driving down the street and I said to Isabel, I'm gonna go make a croquembouche. And she said, what's that? I said, it's filled cream puffs and then you stack them on top of each other. And she said, oh. And I said, yeah, I'm gonna do that. And she said, do you know how? I said, no. So I just figured it out. And the next thing I knew, David Lomelli was calling me and he said, I want you to come do something for TDO. And then we were talking about what I could do. And then all of a sudden, a friend of ours was her daughter was turning 8 and she wanted a princess cake. And so I said, I'm going to make a princess cake. And so I went out and I bought the fondant. I didn't know what to do with it. And so I, made a princess cake. And then I realized that I could make like diva cakes instead of princess cakes. That's how all of that started. It was, I had never baked in my life before. And now it's all I want to do.
Okay. But there is a part of this where I really need the food porn video of somebody taking a bite of this cake and then having like the orgasmic reaction, which would be me. So when you're ready to do that, you need to call me. I want to be the cake taster.
Well, we should just have a party and then we just bake a whole bunch of stuff and then
okay. I love that. I love you because and can I just say that no, not anybody can do this. This is, and I am pure example of this. I already sent you my photos of my husband's birthday cake that I tried to make. It was horrible. It tasted good, but it was horrible. So like I can follow a recipe. It doesn't mean it's going to look like what you did. So you took something you didn't know how to do and you made these gorgeous things, which kills me because of where you live, because people don't eat cake there. That's
people
not a thing.
Eat cake. They
what
don't
is wrong with this?
The cake. The French, man. I mean, they understand patisserie, but they don't understand birthday cake. Where you're fighting for the corner to get the frosting.
Yes.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Ratio, isn't it? Like ratio from cake and frosting and filling and
right. But a good sized birthday cake here, I live here. Hello. Everybody will take like a slither, like that. It's just so disappointing.
You know what I want to know?
What?
How did you not gain weight?
Oh, because I wasn't allowed to eat the cake.
I see.
Too much of it. I mean, I was going through like a dozen eggs a week just on cake alone. It was absolutely insane. No, I gave everything away. I think the neighbors are mad at me because they all gained weight. And
that's awesome.
We gave it to anybody who wanted it. Could just Isabel. I would say to Isabel, don't you have a friend that's having a birthday or whatever? Cool friends, blah, blah, blah. Oh, it's a birthday. Do you want a cake? It was like that. I mean, we just gave everything away.
And they're like, what is this cake with 2 sopranos on it? What?
Actually, that cake went to Isabel's godmother, who has 2 granddaughters, what do you call them, twins, who were having their birthday. And so they got each their own cake.
That's awesome.
And I told them they could keep the Barbies as a present. So it was a twofold. It was nice.
Well, that was very kind of you. We never said.
I love you girls. You guys have been so entertaining.
And it was a great cake. Like
it was very tasty. Yours was chocolate, Sandra. Yeah.
So now, fast forward 16, 17, 18 months, however long it's been, because it's just been too long.
Yes.
And you are about to go
to San Francisco. Thank you so much, United States. So nice. Well, I should really, really knock on some wood right there.
Yep.
It's an ordeal, I don't know if you American passport holders are aware of this, but for anybody that's currently in a European state with a European passport, and forget about it, we're not allowed to come inside your country.
Mm-mm.
And I was very lucky. I got my visa approved, and I know many, many people who didn't.
No.
So I am so grateful. I'm just so grateful. In fact, I'm holding my breath until I'm actually on San Francisco soil.
I get it.
So that's on Thursday in a week. Please say a little prayer, because I won't believe it until it actually happens. Quite literally. I'm just saying little prayers. I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning and I'm saying little prayers. It's just crazy.
The travel is just a nightmare. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Getting around
No.
is still horrid.
And they change the rules so every so often, so you're not necessarily updated unless you make it your mission to be. So yeah.
Well, yay.
San Francisco. Thank you so much. Thank you. I won't
So
believe it until it happens.
So how have you been getting yourself ready to go?
There's been a lot of techno biking. There's been a lot of walking. There has been a lot of forcing myself to be in my little studio. Because man, it's so hard to sing for yourself. Oh, and there's nobody here to work with piano. I have no pianist to work with here. So it's just me, myself, and my one finger because I don't play the piano. But it's just forcing myself every day to just be in here and just sing through the score. That's what I have to do.
Have you been Zoom coachings or Zoom lessons or anything?
No, I cannot do this. I don't know how to do. I don't know how to do that. It's not part of my vocabulary. I'm such a visceral person. I need to be able to see, feel, hear. I just no.
It's hard.
It sucks. I mean,
my teacher, she did offer, but I was just, I said, I can't. I have to figure it out for myself. I cannot rely on what I hear on the recording. No. I mean, at some point you have to trust that your technique is such that your teacher taught you how to catch the fish, not just, how to build the rod and catch the fish, not just, here's a fish, eat it. You know that saying.
Right.
So,
no, I get it. I'm grateful for it though. I mean, just getting myself back in shape and trying to fix some habits that were bad before the pandemic hit that I never had time to work on because you're just kind of go all the time. So it's been nice to try to tear things apart, but I've tried these Zoom lessons and so far so okay. So I've gotten what I needed to get out of it. Does that make sense? Like it helped throughout the week to touch base with somebody and say, okay, this is working, this isn't working.
Right.
I'm trying to fix XYZ. So yeah, but coaching, I haven't tried the coaching. Sandra's done that.
You've done coaching on the internet? How interesting.
I'm trying to learn a new role on the internet.
It's a hot ass mess, girl.
Easier. Like Puccini was much easier, but working on Il Pirata, all that bel canto stuff, forget it. Because the lag is just enough that you're always like,
oh
yeah. You mean to say that you're actually singing while said person is playing? Oh.
Yeah, I work with Tony, my coach. He's in New York.
Right.
And I have one earphone in. So, you hear him really well, but the other one out so you can hear yourself as well. But it's
interesting.
That kind of lag, and you just go.
I don't think that would be for me, quite honestly. But I'm very admiring.
Sometimes you just got to do what you got to do.
You got to do what you got to do. Yes.
That's it. But
okay, what do you, I want to know your thoughts on digital content that these opera companies are saying that it's now going to be a part of our new vocabulary.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say about it. It is so frightening that this is a part of our new reality. I don't know. I don't know what to think about it. And the more I garden and the more I throw that thing over my shoulder and the more I bake my cakes, the more I say to myself, okay, Elzy, time to make peace with it. Time to make peace with it. Time to make peace with it. I don't know. I'm not comfortable in front of the camera. I never get stage fright, but the minute there's a camera on my face, forget about it. My knees start knocking. I get my heart is fluttering. I hate it. I hate it so much. And that's just from my own personal point of view. I don't enjoy listening to it. It doesn't sound right. It's weird. I had a very interesting, something happened to me here down the street with my neighbor. Isabel said, make the puppy sing, because if I sing really high, Lulu sings with me. She loves it. So I'm not sure she loves it, but Isabel loves it because it's funny. So our neighbors also have a dog, and Isabel said, make the puppy sing, make the puppy sing. And so I said, oh, okay. And so I said to the neighbors, is it okay if I sing? And they said, yeah, of course. And so, you know, I bust out some high note. And Carol was like this, like that. It was the first time she had heard a real voice, you know, what we do. And I had not even sung loud. It was just some note. It was not even a real singing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I realized that I myself even have forgotten just the impact of a real voice on our souls, just how it speaks to us subconsciously. We're not even aware of what it does, but it does something. So digital takes that all away. It's gone. There's no more visceral reaction to a real live human voice, which is
Right.
so profound and so powerful.
Yeah.
But then twofold, you know, I see my parents as sitting in South Africa, and they get to see everything I do. And
Right.
for this, I cannot say I'm not grateful. You know, I mean,
No,
what
there
it
is.
Let's talk about the financial aspect of it too, and how we as artists are not getting paid for any of that content. Most of that content that's going out. You know, maybe that'll change now in the future going forward, but
I don't know. I just read a contract the other day that when it talked about the digital, it made me go, like, because all of a sudden they have the power. They have the power of that. And what if it's bad? I mean, what if
That's
you
what I'm
just
saying.
what if you
Makes
just
me
have an
think
off night and then now that's out there forever? And I feel like we have no. And I also felt like, okay, so if I say anything about this, am I a troublemaker? So, I mean, they'll have, you know, somebody 10 years younger than me, or
this
maybe
is what I was
my,
going to say, Carrie.
yeah,
There's 1,000 people standing in line behind you. We
yeah,
have to make peace with it.
no,
I mean, you either join or you get off the boat. I don't know what to say about it. For me, it is a nightmare situation, because it's not, this is not what we were intended to do. It's not what we signed up for. It's not what I signed up for.
No.
You know, I cannot speak for anybody else, but it terrifies me to be in the camera, in front of the camera. And
So-
then a person said the other day, but what about the HDs? But the HD is a different thing, you know. We are in costume. We are rehearsed for 6 weeks. It's just different. I don't know. It's still not the same as hearing a real live human voice. But from our perspective, as the performer's perspective, I can't stand it. It makes me so nervous.
But you're such a great actress, and anybody who's seen you on stage or in any of these HDs, I don't think they realize just how consummate of an actress you are and how you throw yourself into all of these amazing roles. Like your Ida Maneo was.
Really, don't you think it's easy when you are completely in full garb and you're, I mean, I don't know, we just sort of become those people, right?
For some people, if
not
you have
everybody.
that natural ability, yes. And I think all three of us I would call singing actresses.
Yeah.
But other people, it terrifies them.
It is terrifying, but it is terrifying. It's terrifying. I think they're going to have to incorporate some sort of, I don't know what the course would be called, but in conservatories, they will have to teach their performing vocal artists how to work with cameras. It will have to become part of
the curriculum.
The curriculum. It has to, because if this is here to stay, I don't know.
Can I just throw this out there, just because this has been on my brain for Sandra knows for quite some time, because when we're talking about all this stuff, there's still this inside voice. It's just like, and this is why you're done. This is why, and I'll start crying, that this is why you think, I don't want this anymore. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know what, Carrie? All of us have been through it. I mean, I don't know if I want it anymore.
I don't know if that's what the future looks like. If this is what the future is, this digital stuff, I'm definitely not cut out for that. It's definitely not something I'm interested in doing.
Just think how many amazing artists we're going to be losing out on because they don't want to do that.
Oh,
And
sweet.
that's what our art form is. I know, Carrie. Oh, honey bunny.
Oh,
I
sweetie pie, I'm sorry.
No, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
I'm
It's like
giving you a hug.
ugly. What does Oprah call it? Like ugly cry.
Yeah, it's like Kim Kardashian ugly cry. I've done that every single day of my life for the past year. Oh my gosh. You
Oh my
let it
God,
out.
I'm so
Let it out.
I don't think her face moves when she cries anymore. I think it's frozen and permanent. Like,
True. Sorry. It's just
Oh,
such a
honey.
fucking hard decision, you know?
It's
And then
so
you
hard.
see there's so much more that goes into this business and so much sacrifice and so much love for it. I mean, while I'm rehearsing or practicing or whatever, I'm just so in love with it. And then I'm online or I'm reading whatever, or I see who was hired for this. And you're just like, why do I want the next half of my life to still be this, struggle, to still be this feeling like we're not taken care of, we're not important anymore? Does that make sense? Like, it's just one thing after another. And also even just from a financial standpoint, with the uncertainty of this pandemic, or really an endemic is what I kind of think it is. I think we're going to be living with this for the rest of our lives. What does that look like? And from a financial standpoint, it makes no sense to stay in this business at all. None. Because if we're going to keep going in and out of something happening or not happening, how in the world am I going to be filling the coffers for retirement?
There is no security, that's for sure. I mean, I cannot speak for anybody else, but I have depleted my bank account. I have $0 in the bank. Done. It's gone. It's completely gone. And that's just after one episode. I mean, like you said, what about the next time? I won't be able to. I won't. We will have to sell everything and live someplace
we weren't
else.
prepared for that. We were always told to, as a young artist, I mean, I'm the oldest of all of us. I was always told 3 to 6 months, always have that money available. Right?
Right.
Not 16 or 18 months. I mean, like, what more can we give up?
Seriously.
Things. But you know what? We've spent our whole lives.
That's the thing. You're right. I mean, I cannot speak for anybody else here, but there's many other people's dreams on my back that I'm sort of singing for, not just for myself, but I mean, everything my parents sacrificed to make this happen for me.
Yeah.
You know, when you've dedicated yourself 42 years of age, what am I going to do? Just sort of start gardening? I don't know. You know, I mean, I have spent all this time, all the sacrifice doing what I do, and I do it well. We should be able to continue to do what we do. It's and also, please, can we get vaccinated so we can get back to work? This is another thing. I just can't. I can't. I cannot have a conversation with a person right now that's not vaccinated.
No.
Because I get so incensed.
Well, I mean, there on the news here in the last week have been the wars of families with kids and masks, and there were the non-maskers, is that a word? Non-vaccinated that are actually threatening healthcare workers that are saying their kids should be masked, the ones that can't get vaccinated. And I sit there and watch this, and that's when, like what you call, you go down the dark hole. You're just like,
sweetheart, it's okay. Ugly cry. Let it out. Let it out.
Yeah, we will cut all this. You know,
it's horrendous.
It's horrendous. It's so terrible. It's so terrible. My logical, rational brain cannot make sense of it. I don't understand. I mean,
no, I mean, the thing that's kept me sane is, I mean, God, this fucking Screaming Divas takes me hours. It's like a 40-hour week job. And
it's like gardening.
And yeah, so it's kept me busy and kept me sane, but it's also so heartbreaking too, because the majority of people we're talking about are those that are working. And so it's just a toll.
Yeah,
exactly. And I think this has been coming for you for a while, Carrie. Don't you think? This big old ugly cry?
Yeah,
it has been. I've seen it coming, but you, like all of us, have just kept on going.
Yeah, right? You know, I mean, like that's what, when Elza, you talk about figuring out yourself, like that's one of the things to say. It's okay not to be like the badass, strong Wonder Woman person that you've always had to be. Does that make sense? It's okay. It's okay to be vulnerable.
It really is okay. It's okay.
So sorry to hijack this
Are
conversation.
you kidding? Please let it out. It's
Period.
ridiculous that we think we should hold it in.
Exactly. And I think with all the stuff that you've been going through the past weeks, months, you know, and now that you're getting back to singing again, I mean, that's got to be emotional too. It's the unknown.
Well, you just kind of keep asking yourself why. And I'm a planner. I want financial security, and this does not, none of this from a financial standpoint makes any sense. And I have always been okay with saying, because I knew when I almost lost my voice in college, and it's like what Marilyn Horne always said, it's a piece of grizzle in your throat. When I almost lost the voice, I thought, oh, wait a minute, you can't, everything about your life cannot be about these two pieces of grizzle in your throat.
Yeah.
Your life needs to be a huge, wonderful, well-rounded life, whatever that means. If that means I'm not a superstar opera singer, then so be it. Does that make sense? Like that to me was more important. But what I'm now finding is that I don't feel well-rounded anymore. Like there's, with what this pandemic has done, has made me go, wait a second, maybe it's time to walk down this different road that you have always said you'd be okay walking down. And then you say you're okay, and you say, okay, I'm going to go back to school and I'm going to do this. And then you have a massive meltdown because the creative part of this and singing, and every time you open your mouth and the voice still sounds healthy and wonderful. And oh my God, I can sing the shit out of this. I can't wait for somebody to hear it. And then you're like, but do I have to go knock on everybody's door to have them hear it again? Does that make sense? I mean, do I really want to put the energy into this? How many times have I been here?
Yeah.
Anyway, that's where I'm at. That's where I am. And it's, but once again, I don't want to hijack this conversation.
Oh,
No, hijack it all away. Because what you're touching on something that I also uncovered, and that is just how much of what how do I say this? I didn't realize how much stock I was putting into my own worth as a person, and how much that was attached to Elza the singer, not Elza the person. I didn't realize how much I depended on my singing self to uplift the Elzy self, like the.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I was unaware of how much I was attaching myself to that persona. I call it a persona,
Personality was
not
so
real.
attached to your singing voice.
Yeah.
And
how that validated me. I that gave me validation. And so when that disappeared, I was like, what?
Mm-hmm.
Who am I? What do I do? I don't even know who I am. I didn't recognize myself. It's just a complete shell of a person because I thought singing is the thing that made me special. It's the thing that made me tick. It was the thing that made other people like me. It's so stupid.
No, it is.
Yeah.
No, because you know what? We've spent, as we said earlier, we have spent all of our lives becoming this entertainer and putting all of our energy and our creative energy, but our personality too. And we've been on this treadmill for so long.
Yeah, you didn't even realize it until all of a sudden that treadmill came to a halting stop without any warning.
No.
Yeah. It was incredible.
And that's the worst part, I think, of it all, is that we weren't given a choice to stop doing what we love and what we've spent all of our lives training for. It was just taken away from us.
Ripped.
I still, part of me feels like it's still being robbed of us. I mean, you know, sports are back. I can see stadiums packed with people, but I can't see an opera house packed with people. And it's just still, it's frustrating. It's frustrating to watch, especially in this country with the wealth that we have and the availability of vaccines that we have, to watch, to still hold our breath, wondering if work's going to happen.
Yeah. And if you have another person come up to me and say, oh, it's like you're on a vacation, a permanent vacation, a year-long vacation, I'm going to put my fist through the next person's face who says that to me, because it's just hurtful. This is not vacation.
No.
This is not a sabbatical.
Vacation, right? If you call being in hell vacation, like permanent, you know, permanent purgatory is what I said to somebody. was what we were living in, because you know what? It wasn't hell. It was purgatory. You
It was
know,
undefinable. It was so horrible, horrible.
Okay, let me ask you this, because for the past 2 weeks, I thought, you know what? I think it's time to just stop wearing the stretchy pants every day. So I'm going to put on my work clothes, the stuff that I would wear to rehearsals. I want to see if I fit into it and because I have like, I don't know, 3 different sizes in my closet. So I wanted to know where I was, and then, then I thought, okay, I'm going to start wearing that. I'm going to start wearing, like, no offense, but when I'm around my house, I wear like my old ratty bras, like the ones that your mama always says, please don't
I
wear
wear
out of
no
house.
bra.
Oh, okay, there you go. So also I'm putting on the back, the ones that really hold these suckers up. And then and then real clothes and wearing them all day because I'm not used to it. And it actually like took a while for me to finally feel normal walking around in regular clothes, because I don't have to out here in the woods. I can wear my my stretchy Lulus every day. So
I'm not there yet. There's going to be a culture shock when I go back to work. I have no idea what the hell I'm going to wear.
I mean, even like heels, I was like, oh my gosh, if you're going to sing in heels, if you're going to sing in heels, you need to put them on, Carrie. You need to practice actually standing in your heels singing, because
they'll kill your feet. Yeah.
I did that in Madrid. So, one of the first things, like with an audience on stage in costume with makeup. And I went to the press conference and I put on heels because I thought, I'm going to look all pretty. And the soles of my feet, like the pad here, I got a blister like that big. And
because your feeties were not accustomed to the heels anymore.
They're like virgin piggies, and it was 3 weeks. My poor dresser was buying me balm for my feet.
Oh gosh, poor thing.
And it was like silly things, but we don't remember so
We don't. The Met concert in Wiesbaden, I think I wore my heels only once. The rest of the time I was barefoot because I couldn't stand it. I couldn't stand it. My feet were dying. We're just used to it. I mean, and that's just a metaphor for everything else, right? Like the vocal cords, like the emotional self, like the stamina. I don't know what it's going to be like to go back to 6 hours of rehearsal.
That's
Who
scary.
knows?
You can't prepare for that.
You can't prepare for that. And also the momentum that we have all built up, to have that disrupt like that. How do you get yourself back into motion? I mean, mentally, like, how do you get back on that hamster wheel? I just don't even know. Anyway.
I'm glad you're going to an opera house that's with Matthew there, who's just so wonderful. That feels like I don't know if it feels like a safe environment to you. It would feel like one to me.
It's right, trained, right? So that wasn't when San Francisco didn't happen. I mean, thank God they rescheduled, and thank God it worked out, because I had to get out of something else to be able to make this happen. I'm so grateful. Thank you, Frankfurt. Thank you, San Francisco. It was my big comeback after 12 years of not having sung on that stage. And that's where I trained. I was an Adler Fellow for 3 years. Right. I was in Maryland for 2. And I was an undergraduate and graduate at the Conservatory of Music. I lived in San Francisco for 10 years. And it was going to be my first time back in 12 years. When that got canceled, Kim Kardashian Ugly Cry was great. I was so distraught. And this is another thing. You try and tell people that, our job is so far planned in advance. And with it also comes heightened anticipation, Like some jobs are just jobs, but other jobs are so special. You look forward to them with such fervor, and that they give you almost like reason to keep going because it's coming, right?
Right.
Like the first time I sang in Santa Fe, I couldn't wait until I was going to be back at Santa Fe. And so when that happened, it was like I was living for every little moment that was going to get me closer to Santa Fe, because it gives you a reason to be excited, to be looking forward to something.
Right.
And I had been so looking forward to San Francisco because I knew about it like 3 years prior, right? So it was just when that disappeared along with everything else, that cut of that anticipation, you know, that thing that gives you joy.
Yeah.
That was hard to deal with.
Yeah.
Massive.
Let's talk a little bit. I would just want to talk about your career and how you vocally have moved from like Mozart and bel canto, because we did Stuarda together at the Met, which was, you were amazing.
Mm-hmm.
You were amazing.
In that costume. Yeah.
Insane. That thing weighed
Your
40
head
pounds.
hurt that time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah. To now these German roles, these like full-on dramatic soprano roles. And you said you're 42. What led you to take that next step now into the Strauss and all this?
I don't think it was necessarily a conscious step. I think it was a natural progression. And you know, over the next 10 years, you will sing na 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 na, and that will get you to Strauss. This is exactly what happened. And what was so brilliant about it was that I approach anything I sing with the same lyricism that I would sing Mozart, singing Verdi, singing anything. I just try my best to sing it lyrically. And that, of course, is all influenced by, as you said, the bel canto, the Mozart, but I mean, everybody that's ever heard me has told me since I was 2, you know, Strauss is in your future. I knew it was coming. So it was not a conscious choice. It was just sort of like, that's my way of getting there.
Mm-hmm.
Steps.
And so, yeah.
Elise Davidson said the same thing. We interviewed her, and it was really interesting how she has that same kind of plan that you have. But, you know, you have to spend your time in each level, you know, and we know that because the voice takes time to grow into those dramatic roles, and you have to understand the timing of it too, and be patient, and that's hard.
I don't know if it's hard to be patient. I was always like, please don't get my foot over the brake. Just please, no, too big, too soon. No, I don't want to. It's too big, it's too soon. It's too big, it's too soon. And I'm still a little bit like that. I'm really afraid. Like, I really err on the side of caution. Because, oh gosh, you know, when I stand next to Christine Gerke, I'm like, oh yeah, that's what a big voice sounds like. I hear myself as a big voice, you know, it's a bizarre thing. I don't hear myself like that.
Really?
No, I don't think of myself as somebody with a big instrument. And I know I'm stupid because I've been told that. But when I stand next to these dramatic voices, I think to myself, what am I doing here? What the hell am I doing here? Mm-hmm. I feel so pipsqueaky. I feel so tiny.
Seriously?
No, but for real, I'm not just saying that to get to elicit reaction. It's strange. And even when I was singing Die Kaiserin, my first Kaiserin in concert with Lisa Lindström, again, I'm standing next to her and I'm like, what am I doing here? I don't belong here.
Oh my gosh.
And when I heard Tommy Wilson singing it, I was like this. Oh, wow. I can't envision myself sounding like that. It's a bizarre thing. So I have to come to terms with what I'm told is a big enough sound to sing these roles. I just don't believe it yet. I'm always, please don't take my foot off that brake. I'm so afraid to touch the pedal that makes you go faster. I don't know what that thing's called. You know, pedal to the metal. Yeah, I don't want to go there. I'm afraid. And I would have stayed in Verdi land for as long as I could, but nobody wanted to hire me for that. So
really? I would so hire you for that. I would so hire you for all the Verdi.
Oh, thanks, honey. Thank you.
So what's next? What's new? If everything stays.
If everything stays, the season should be a beautiful season. I mean, I'm just praying. So it will be. Where are we now? This is 2022. My gosh, I'm old-fashioned. I still have a book. I cannot do this digital stuff.
Me too.
I will go from
Oh my gosh, ladies, I can't handle that.
Because you are so good at this tech stuff.
That is hysterical.
I'm not very good
You
at
go
it.
from San Francisco.
We go from San Francisco, then we in San Francisco we go to Paris for a Brahms Requiem and 7 early songs.
Nice.
And then I go to Berlin for Lohengrin, which was my Berlin Staatsoper debut. I've never sung in Berlin. Can you
That's
imagine?
amazing.
And then I will go sing Rodelinda at the Met, because I sing everything. Like one
Oh my gosh, that's so fun though.
Hey.
Yeah.
When's the Rodelinda?
I'm sorry, what?
When is the Rodelinda?
It will be in February of 2022.
Cool. I can't believe we're almost in 22. That's insane.
Little prayers.
How did it happen? How did it happen? I don't know. Like seriously, yeah. But you're going to San Francisco, so
hallelujah.
I said to Carrie that when I get on the plane, she'll be the first person I call, because then it will feel real.
Yeah. Yay. I love you.
I love you too.
Jesus. Okay. All right. Are we going to get to rapid fire? Can we please have a little bit of happiness and joy? Because I mean, I feel like jumping into a bottle of vodka right now. I don't want to do that.
This whole time, you guys are highly entertaining.
Are we?
We are crazy. That's what we are. Nut jabs.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Nut
We are so happy that you came and chit chatted with us.
No, I love you. You know what? I'm so grateful. I said to Carrie it was going to be like a call back to reality. You know, like one the ripcord has been ripped.
Because here you go. You're off to work in a week.
Yeah, and you got to remember how to talk to people too. That was the hardest part for me.
Yeah.
Conversations and rehearsal, you're like,
I have swallowed my tongue and my vocabulary has left the room.
oh yes, yeah.
Okay, can I say that for me, it wasn't talking, because I talk all the time, no matter even if anybody's listening or not, right? But I have a problem with eating because I'm just messy, and at home I don't care, like I don't care if that lettuce is hanging out of my face, but in public you can't eat like that.
No, preferably not.
So the first time we went out to dinner after we were vaccinated, we felt like we were safe. I don't know about now. I mean, Lord mercy, but we go and I'm like, oh gosh, you have to like take smaller bites and actually eat like a lady. And I mean,
Oh dear.
that's my problem. My biggest problem is about the food. Hello.
Fears 101, eating in public.
Eating in public. Small bites, Carrie. Do not shovel it in like it's going away. Like somebody's going to rip it out from under you. Okay. Okay.
All right. You ready for rapid fire?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's Screaming Diva too.
Yes, you are. You're an honorary.
Yeah.
We need a brunette, right?
Oh my God.
I'm happy to join your team. So honored.
Yay.
Okay. Yeah, Carrie, go. 3
things you have to do every day.
Brush my teeth, kiss the puppy many, many times on the belly, and read the New York Times.
Cool. I do that too every day.
Best piece of advice you were ever given?
Ooh, I have a beautiful one. I don't want to cry. Michael Tilson Thomas told me the very first time I sang 4 Lost Songs was with him on the San Francisco Symphony stage. And the very first time I went out there to do them live, he whispered to me, he said, Elzy, tonight you are singing this piece and someone in the audience is hearing this for the very first time. And that stuck with me my whole career. Every single night I go out, I think to myself, there's somebody in that audience that's hearing this tonight for the very first time. So that was very good advice because it gives you purpose.
I love that.
Amazing. Wow. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Michael Tilson Thomas.
Yeah.
I love him. He's going through a hard time.
We'll send up a little prayer for him. Yep.
Finish this sentence. What the world needs now is
vaccinations.
Hello, people.
I'm in a second. Duh.
Yes,
Isn't
but
that just,
I know.
No.
I know. What makes you brave?
oh. Am I brave?
Your Wonder Woman underoos.
I was brave.
You're very
You know, and here comes the tears, but I think what makes me brave is my sensitivity.
I love that.
beautiful.
Yes.
I love you very much.
Okay. If you could choose any magical power, what would it be?
Definitely invisibility. I want to know what people say when they shut those doors. I want to know.
I love that.
I need to know what people are saying.
Oh dear.
Give me the truth. Yep. Mm-hmm.
What is the most precious thing that you own?
Oh, my dog. I know it's not right to say that I own her because she shouldn't be property, but I own her. She's mine.
She's your
The
baby.
most precious thing I can think of.
Oh. Is she going with you to San Fran?
You know, she always comes with me everywhere. Right. But on this very particular occasion, I don't know what to expect.
Right.
And the flight from Paris to San Francisco alone is 11 hours. And I have to get from here to Paris. So, you know, door to door, let's say best case scenario, she has to stay in her bag for 18 hours. I don't know what to expect. And I cannot do that to her.
Okay.
And she has a condition that forces her to take a diuretic. How can I keep her in her sleepy pod for 18 plus hours? I just can't. So it will be the very first time that we're separated.
Okay.
And I can't even think about it because I'm already crying.
Okay, we're not going there. We're not going there. Okay. Okay. What is the greatest gift that we can give one another?
Oh, kindness, love, respect, patience, understanding, vaccinations.
I love you. Yep, totally.
What is your favorite place on earth?
My kitchen.
Oh,
I love that. That's so awesome. Okay, favorite cuss word, any language.
Fuck, shit, god damn it, fuck, fucking fuck. I'm such a potty mouth. It's horrible.
I love it, and that's why we're friends. No,
Do we have any more? Are we done rapid firing?
No, I have one last question.
Carrie has one last question,
and it's the one that's my favorite. If heaven, other than the cuss word, because that's my favorite too. Okay.
Oh no, this is gonna be go, Carrie.
If heaven exists, what do you want to hear God say as you walk through the pearly gates?
Well, first of all, he's going to be like, you made it. And second of all, he's going to say to me, that'll do, pig.
That'll do. Oh my God, you say that phrase too. I say that phrase.
My mother says that to me all the time. The first time after we watched Babe, she said to me, from now on, when you've done well, that's what I'll tell you. So it's our little thing. And it just is stuck with me. That'll do, pig, that'll do.
I love it. I say it to my husband all the time.
That'll do. Yeah.
Oh, that's
love.
I love you guys too so much.
Thanks for doing this with us.
Yeah, and you have to let us know how San Fran goes.
Yep.
I will. I'm so grateful. Honestly, so grateful. This was something so important that happened. It was so good. And I'm so sorry I cried, but you know, it's important that your audience, maybe there's young singers out there that think they have to be so, but I think what you guys are doing is so phenomenal because it's reaching all kinds of people that need to be knowing what the hell this is like and what we're going through. And how interesting it is to see all your audience, your interviewees, your guests. My God, hello. Like I said, vocabulary has left the room. It's so interesting how everybody has such different experiences. How we've all experienced this thing so differently. And thank you for that. I want to thank you guys because it's been so informative and interesting. And
It's I have always been fascinated by that. With when adversity happens, how do people function through this? I would say, if I went back through all of it, originally it was a lot of shock and a lot of disbelief, and then that turned into loss and grief, and how people were dealing with that and how I dealt with it. I mean, Lord mercy, I would have never put myself out on the internet in front of God and everybody like this before the pandemic, never. So this was my way of dealing with it. Does that make sense? Of trying to bring some kind of happiness and levity and joy and information and whatever. But I don't think I've ever ugly cried like that on a video, Sandra. No.
I think you might have once. I for sure have.
Oh, I did with Paul Driscoll of Opera News. Sweet
Yes.
baby Jesus.
And
Yeah,
you know,
I did.
but you know what the funny thing is, Elsa, how this show, we had a mission statement, you know, when we first started it, and how it's really changed and adapted.
Evolved, yeah.
Yeah, and evolved, and I don't think it's just now the levity and everything. I think it's kind of a bonding thing, and
Absolutely.
sharing their experiences, you know,
Absolutely.
and just wanting to talk about it.
And this is another interesting thing, because Carrie asked me before if I would come and join you guys, but I just couldn't. My way of coping is absolutely to do the opposite, and that is to not talk. Like I couldn't face talking. I couldn't face it. I quite literally couldn't do it. And I would just be a sobbing mess anytime somebody was trying to talk to me. I literally couldn't. It was so, I don't talk when I'm in distress, and I shut off completely. Like, yeah, interesting how we all deal with things differently.
It is, isn't it? But you seem really in a good place now.
It's taken 16 months of a lot of Kim Kardashian crying and baking and gardening.
And cake. I love cake.
And alcohol.
Thank you. Yes.
Holy shit.
Oh,
Anyway,
We all gotta go practice. All right.
I gotta go eat a pizza. I love you guys so much.
you too. Thank you.
I'm so grateful. Honestly, I know I sound really like silly when I say this, but this was so necessary, and I'm so grateful.
Me too. Thank you, Elza. Thank you so much for doing this with us.
And say hello to Isabel.
Give her our love.
Bye-bye.
Love you. Love you too. Bye.